Hi, I'm Saif with CLD Partners. Today, I'm going to show you features and key aspects of PSQuote. Services organizations need a quoting solution designed for how services are sold and delivered. Using a spreadsheet or a traditional CPQ does not work well. For over 12 years, CLD has helped dozens of clients enhance their CRM tool by building services estimation solutions on the Salesforce platform to fill the gap that exists between CRM and PSA or ERP tools. Now, sales and delivery teams can easily quote professional services based exactly on how services teams deliver those services. Okay, let's jump in. We're looking at an opportunity that has already been created in Salesforce. Let's take a look at the professional service quote associated with this opportunity. Here, we can see basic header information shown, such as the billing method, start and end dates, and discounts that you may want to offer. From our experience, clients quote services in 3 different ways. We'll take a look at each of these approaches to give you a vision for how you could utilize PSQuote. First, we're going to take a look at a quote that was created using offerings. Offerings are a predetermined set of roles, rates, and hours. Think of it as a mini template. Here, I have a library of all these offerings. These are built out during an implementation based on an organization's needs. As we scroll down, we can expand the offering for professional services to see what is in the offering. We can see the roles, rates, and the hours that we're expecting to deliver for this engagement. One additional feature to note is that when an offering is selected, it also contains standard wording to use in a statement of work, such as scope, deliverables, and assumptions. When we added this offering, it also came with non-labor elements that are commonly sold with this kind of work. Here, we have a product, some servers, travel provisions, as well as a fixed fee item for training in this case. Depending on the client's needs, you can remove these or add different materials. Many teams need the flexibility to provide a completely custom-built quote. You can accomplish this by selecting Custom Scope and building up the quote. Add roles and hours. The rates that come in are stored on rate cards, but these can all be adjusted within the quote as well. Next, let's take a look at the other 2 ways to quote services. We can consider these next 2 approaches as bottom-up estimating. Bottom-up estimating uses phases and tasks and a level of effort schedule based on a weekly schedule by role. Using bottom-up estimating, you can build up your estimate in the same way you build your projects, thinking in terms of phases and tasks or work breakdown structure, WBS. In PSQuote, we have the ability to do this. Under the Tasks tab, you can build out phases, tasks, subtasks, and order them based on the desired scope. Along with task quoting, you can use the task Gantt to visualize your quoted phases and tasks. You can create phases and tasks, adjust them, and create dependencies between them all within the task Gantt. By clicking the plus button on the Gantt, you can quickly add phases and tasks to your quote. PSQuote is jam-packed with useful features to help you make the most accurate quote possible. For example, all within our task quoting feature, you can add task predecessors and lag days in several different ways. Once you've set up your predecessors on your tasks, any change in task duration will auto-calculate the dependent task dates for you, and a whole slew of other features. We have a whole blog post dedicated to task quoting. And last but not least, the third way to build out a quote is based upon the hours per week scheduled across the various resources for the duration of the project. In PSQuote, we have the LOE schedule to accomplish this need. On the LOE schedule, we can either manually fill in hours, or we can allocate them using the Allocate Hours feature. Also note that we can visualize our phases and tasks on the LOE schedule. This makes it much easier to calculate hours and plan resource demand. An extremely powerful feature of PSQuote is the ability to build out your quote in these different ways and then sync them together. For example, You can push the phases and tasks that we set up in the Task tab to the LOE schedule to see what this would look like from a resource demand perspective. These features help standardize the way you sell and improve resource demand forecasting. Most teams will utilize a combination of these approaches to arrive at a quote and produce the documents necessary to deliver that quote to a prospect. Once we have a quote that we're generally happy with, we can sync this to the opportunity. Now let's navigate back to the opportunity and see the new price reflected there in the amount. Sales cycles move fast, and oftentimes you need to create a revised quote based on scope changes. You can clone the original quote, create a new one, or copy data from an existing quote. PSQuote allows you to have more than one service quote on the opportunity, simply to note which one is the primary quote at any given time. Once it's cloned, you can make any modifications needed to offerings, resource mix, rates, non-labor materials, schedules, etc. Now let's go confirm the billing method. If you use a fixed price billing method, you can set up a billing schedule. Now that our quote is in order, let's go to the document builder. We can pull up a template and create a document, make any changes that we need to, and then send them to a prospective client. PSQuote works with Conga and other popular document generation apps. The next few capabilities that we would like to highlight are around syncing. PSQ easily connects with PSA applications on or off the Force.com platform, so that information from the quote and opportunity are used as the basis for project setup and project staffing. We also have the capability to sync the primary quote with Salesforce CPQ. We want to highlight that PSQuote is agnostic in regards to the PSA tool to sync with. Some teams can choose not to sync with a PSA tool at all and just update the opportunity. We have pre-built connectors to a few popular PSA apps. These are unmanaged plugins, which allow for individual clients to tweak the code as needed. This capability demonstrates the flexibility of PSQuote. With the ability to sync back to an opportunity or CPQ quote, and downstream to a PSA or ERP, PSQuote fills a gap in any organization's drive to a more fully automated quote-to-cash system. Because PSQuote is built on Salesforce, all of the data is available for building reports and dashboards. With PSQuote, teams can build quotes faster and with more accuracy. They can bridge the gap between sales and delivery. All of this allows companies to quote with greater confidence and grow because they have the right automation in place. Thanks for taking a look at some of the core features of PSQuote. We look forward to meeting with you for a more in-depth and live demo when you're ready.